Hey everybody, Evan Ronan here. I write genre fiction under that pen name. This is the first of what will hopefully be many videos aimed at beginning writers, as well as readers, people who've signed up for my mailing list. So before we get into today's tip for beginning writers, please click subscribe to this video. That way you'll get them as I push them out. It looks like I'm going to be doing, not every day, but once or twice a week a new video. So we'll see as we'll take it along as far as it goes, and hopefully it gains some traction. So today's tip for beginning writers is actually what I think is probably the best tip I can give to beginning writers. Just so you know a little bit about me, I've been indie publishing through Amazon's KDP for about 26 months now, and I've got about 25 titles under this pen name, as well as several other titles under a few other pen names. By no means am I an expert, but I have sold quite a few books, and if I can share what I've learned kind of throughout this process of not just the last 26 months, but really the last 8 to 10 years when I've been pursuing writing. Hopefully what I can share with you guys will help you. When I say beginning writers, I mean people who maybe are struggling just to finish their first novel. Maybe they finished it and they don't know what to do next, or they've gotten bogged down with just editing the life out of their story, or it's anybody who has really ever just thought of giving writing a try. So first tip for beginning writers is kind of tied to the law of specificity. This is an idea that I believe comes to us from sports science. At least that's where I encountered it first, though you'll be able to see pretty quickly that it applies to really any activity in your life. And it's such a simple idea that you might actually roll your eyes when you hear me say it, thinking that, well, that's so simple it can't actually be effective. And it is, it really is. So the law of specificity basically says that if you want to get good at something, the absolute best way to improve is to actually do it. So what do I mean by that? So let's take it out of the context of writing and think of something else. Let's just say you want to be a better sprinter. The best thing that you can do is to sprint, right? Lifting weights might help you become a better sprinter, and I'm sure that most, if not all, of Olympic sprinters lift weights or have lifted weights periodically to help them with their sprinting. But the idea is that the activity itself, the thing that you want to get better at, is actually the best thing you can do to improve yourself in that, whatever the activity may be. Now, like I said, it's a very, very simple idea, but there are a lot of temptations out there, and I fell prey to them earlier on in my writing career, back when I was just starting out. I spent a lot of time just thinking about writing, or reading lots of blogs about writing, Googling for the latest tip or secret, something that would, all of a sudden turn me into like an overnight success. I've attended a lot of workshops, a lot of seminars, but a few conferences. And don't get me wrong, all of these things have value. But the absolute best thing you can do with your precious, precious spare time is to write. So if you're like me and everybody else on the planet, and you are pursuing writing, and you have really just a limited amount of spare time, let's say you have an hour a day, don't spend it online reading about writing. Don't watch videos about writing. Spend most of that hour actually writing. And if you want to use, and I'll probably bring this rule up a lot in these videos, but if you want to use the 80-20 principle, which if you've worked in corporate America, you've probably gotten sick of hearing of it. But the 80-20 rule is basically says that you want to spend your time most effectively doing the one or a couple things that get you 80% of the way there. And then the remaining 20% you can attack at another time, or you can get to it kind of when you get to it. So you want to do the thing that gives you the biggest lift. And according to the law of specificity, the biggest lift to improve yourself at anything is to actually do the thing that you want to get better at. So if you have suddenly been inspired by this video and you want to hit pause right now and go write some words, by all means, go ahead. I'm obviously not going anywhere. I'll be right here. But if you're sticking around with me, we can kind of transition into the next thing. So that was the first tip. Like I said, it might be the best tip I can give to beginning writers. I remember back when I started out, I attended a kind of a monthly meeting. It wasn't quite a workshop. It wasn't a seminar. It was just a lot of authors and aspiring authors sitting around talking about writing. And we met, and I think they continue to meet now. But anyway, we would meet once a month, and it would be a 2 to 3 hour session. And everybody in there would complain, not everybody, but a lot of the folks in there would complain about how little time they had to write, and that they could have been using those 2 to 3 hours to actually work on their craft as opposed to talking about it. And I've just seen this happen with a lot of beginning writers out there, where they're doing it with the best of intentions. They're trying to learn everything they can. They're buying that latest how-to book from their favorite best-selling author. They're signing up for all these classes. They're going to conferences. And, just keep in mind that if you have just an hour a day to spend on your craft, you should spend as much of that hour actually writing as you are doing anything else. And if you absolutely need to bolster that with theory and kind of the ideas behind writing, then carve out a few minutes, but put those minutes at the end of your hour. So maybe the first 50 minutes you're actually producing content, and then the last 10 minutes you're checking out the blogs that you regularly read. Maybe it's your favorite authors or your what have you. And that's really the best way to go about doing it. So, all right, enough about the law of specificity. Very, very simple idea, but very, very effective. And you'll see your word counts really kind of, if you stick with this for a month, your word counts will skyrocket, because you'll be forcing yourself to do the thing that you're actually really want to do. So that's all for now on the first tip. Quick plug for me. Really excited. I have a book that I co-authored coming out on December 16th. I wrote this one with Nathaniel Green. He's a good friend and fellow author. We wrote another series together, which is still kind of in the works. Those books have done well. That's our Sword and Tomahawk series set in the French and Indian War in colonial Pennsylvania. But the book that we're about to release is the first in a new series. It is get ready for this, it is a post-apocalyptic fantasy action thriller. Try saying that 5 times fast. So, post-apocalyptic fantasy action thriller combines elements from all those genres, all of our favorite genres, and it has the pacing of a thriller. So it starts off really, really fast with what I think is a very interesting hook, and never lets up from there. The pacing, we wanted to make it just kind of relentless, so the characters go kind of from one catastrophe to the next while they're trying to solve sort of a mystery on the side, and as they go along, they're learning about this new magical ability which kind of just appeared in the world a few months before the story began. So it's pretty interesting, and so we've sent it out to a lot of early advanced readers. All the feedback has been great. Our editors love it, but we pay them, so they're probably just saying that. But no, all of our advanced readers have given us really amazing feedback, so we are like super pumped up for this one. It's launching on December 16th. It is called Out of the Fire, and it is the first in our new series. We're hard at work on books 2 and 3, and we can see it going beyond book 3, but we're kind of using a wait-and-see approach, and kind of feeling our way through the story beyond book 3. So it's out December 16th. Again, it's called Out of the Fire. Now, I will forgive you if on December 16th you decide to go see Rogue One, Star Wars, as opposed to downloading my latest story. I am a huge Star Wars fan and have been since I can remember. So I totally appreciate the fact that you might be sucked in by the cultural phenomenon that is Star Wars on December 16th. But if you're on my mailing list, you will be getting just a friendly reminder email that book is coming out. So we're really excited about that. Going to try and keep these videos short. I've already gone on for quite some time, so I think that's a wrap here. So please click subscribe so you can stay up with the videos. If you want to ask me anything, always feel free to email me. My author address is Ronan, RONAN, is writing @gmail.com. I answer every email I get from readers and writers. Always happy to kind of have a dialogue with readers, just because I get such interesting feedback, not just great feedback, but also constructive feedback. So love to hear from you folks. Please feel free to reach out to me. Again, that email address is ronaniswriting @gmail.com. And stay tuned, more videos to come. Thanks, everybody.